This really is your Sunday, and I think today you've seen the beautiful mosaic, this tapestry of giftedness that this congregation represents. It's a remarkable thing. But I did want to just briefly put our morning in some kind of theological context for you. You know, the human body it's the most beautifully constructed and articulated organism that I can imagine when it works well. And I'm amazed with the age of our population here in this part of the county, the level of vitality and virility that folks have. Reminds me of the story of the gentleman that went into the doctor for a checkup, the older gentleman. Checked him out, and he said, "Boy, you're in great shape. You must be, what, about 60 years old?" He said, "No, I'm 75. "Wow." Doctor said, "You must have great genes. How old was your father when he died?" Said, "He's not dead. He's 95 years old. He's still going strong. Plays tennis 3 times a week. Drives his own car." I said, "That's remarkable. 95 years old. How old was his father when he died?" "He's not dead either. He's 112 years old. Still lives on his own home. Plays bridge and has a girlfriend half his age. In fact, he's going to get married pretty soon." Getting married? He's 112 years old. Why in the world would he want to get married now? And the guy said, "Who said he wants to get married?" Simply referencing the text that Mimi read, the human body, when it functions properly, represents how the church is supposed to function. And that interdependence, that unity, that synergy that's created when the body is working properly. And we saw kind of a demonstration of that today. It is really quite remarkable. Because the ministry of any particular congregation should be established on the gifts and the talents and the abilities that really emerge kind of organically from within. So there are a couple of things I want to remind you about your spiritual gifts, about our spiritual gifts this morning. First, we should never count our spiritual gifts as accidental. They're not arbitrary. They're not just given randomly with no rhyme or reason or purpose. They're given intentionally and purposely for a reason. And primarily the reason has to do with your vocation and your calling in life, how you shape your life and how you shape your career and how you serve and how you express yourself should be based upon the spiritual gifts and the talents that God has given you. There's a purpose, there's a method in God's madness when it comes to giftedness. And in terms of the church, that has to do with building up the church. That has to do with contributing to what the Scripture calls the common good. So we should never count our gifts as accidental. Secondly, we should never count our gifts as incidental. They are really critical and central to helping the congregation, the community of faith, become all that it can be. We should never work independently of the greater good. Whatever gifts that you've been given in your life, and we've just seen a small sampling today, they shouldn't just be for your own self-aggrandizement or your own self-interest. They should be used for the common good, to help humanity improve itself, to help the world become a better place, to help the congregation become all it can be. And for instance, I know some of you have been given the gift of making money. You really have. I don't have that gift, some of you have. Then you have to decide what you're going to use it for. If you want a suggestion or two, I can gladly help you with that. Your gift should never be considered incidental. Thirdly, your gifts should never be considered insignificant. And that's why I love that particular text which talks about the different parts of the body, the less honorable ones, the less conspicuous ones, the less glamorous ones, and so forth. There is a kind of a radical egalitarianism in the Bible when it comes to the people of God. It's a remarkable thing, it's a unique thing, it's a beautiful thing. And so whatever the gifts might be, they're all important, they're all essential to the building of the body. The ones we see up front in the Sunday morning service, the high-profile ones, we know about those, but there are so many which are inconspicuous, which are carried out behind the scenes. For instance, there's a gift that the Bible describes as the gift of helping. I know a couple of people in this congregation who have the gift of helping, and that's such a beautiful thing. So never count your gifts as accidental, as incidental, as insignificant, and finally,